Guys, like many of you, I grew up in the 80s and, you know, watching Commando, Rambo, Kickboxer, Chuck Norris, you name it, all the action heroes, and I loved all those guys growing up. And, when Arnold came out and showed the world that he was a freaking communist, it hurt. I'm not going to lie. That junk hurt. That hurt. But luckily, tonight, one of them took a stand. Rambo, he came out. He played Rocky Rambo. I don't have to tell you who he is. You know who he is. Anyway, he has made a surprise guest appearance at the annual gala at Mar-a-Lago. And he says no one could have done what Donald Trump has done. He references George Washington. Check it out.
I'll just say this, and I mean it. When George Washington defended his country, he had no idea that he was going to change the world. Because without him, you can imagine what the world would look like. Guess what? We got the second George Washington. Congratulations!
Do you know how epic that is? Literally Hollywood, someone in Hollywood to take a stand. Because I heard Joe Rogan say this other day that he has lots of friends in the industry. And I've told you guys that I know people in the film industry as well. And they're afraid to say anything. Usually the guys that don't have any social media and that don't talk about politics are the ones that are conservative, because they know if they talk about it, like their roles will get shut down. They will lose their jobs essentially, because that whole world is ran by just disgusting people. You've heard the horror stories, right? Now we've got, coming into the inauguration, these folks are trying to do everything in their power. The FBI actually went after this young man, which is absolutely insane. This young man right here, the CEO of Polymarket. They came and seized his phone and electronics after the election betting platform, Polymarket, successfully forecast Donald Trump's win. That's all they did. Shane Copland here, this young man here, 26-year-old, was targeted at his Soho home during a dawn raid. Luckily, he's still alive. Let's be honest. They love those dawn raids. They drive a freaking MRAP through your freaking house. Luckily, he's still alive. Now, he blasted the seizure as a grand political theater at its worst. He said they could have asked his lawyer. This was an insider within the group. They said they could have asked his lawyer for any of these things. Instead, they staged a so-called raid so they can leak it to the media and use it as for obvious political reasons. Copland was not arrested or given a reason for the raid on his home, but is thought to be linked to his accurate predictions, which outsmarted traditional polls. Now, he predicted weeks prior that it was going to be a landslide, okay? And they're saying this is all obvious political retribution for the outgoing administration against Polymarket, because this is the thing. Regardless if they indict him or not, this just ties this man up, okay? And causes inconveniences to this young man, right? Again, he told weeks before that Trump would win, and it turned out that he was right. I think I even broadcast that on one of my episodes early on, that he was calling for a Trump domination. Many experts raised their eyebrows at it whenever he posted this stuff. But Copland posted on X, he said, "Make no mistake, Polymarket single-handedly called the election before anything else. The global truth machine is here, powered by the people." And they're afraid of that. They're afraid of the message getting out, because they've controlled legacy media and people are running away from that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. People are running away from legacy media. And now they're going to do whatever they can prior to Trump getting in. For example, Secretary of State Antony Blinken announces every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed to Ukraine between now and January 20th. Why? Because that's obviously what Americans want, right? Is to send all of our dollars over there. No, Hell no. We're still struggling to survive over here. And then you have this. Zelensky's nuclear option. Ukraine months away from the bomb. Freaking, we have Ukraine developing a nuclear weapon. He said last month that he told Trump that Ukraine would need nuclear weapons to guarantee country security. They want to thrust us into a nuclear war so badly. I mean, it's it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? Now, I do want to talk a little bit about behind the scenes of what we have going on. I just spoke about the Pentagon holding meetings and on how they would defy Trump's orders. Now we have this. Listen to this. Democrat governors create a coalition against Trump policies. So the governors of Illinois and Colorado, both Democrats, have announced the formation of a new alliance to resist President-elect Donald Trump's policies just weeks before he's set to assume office. The alliance's name is GSD, or Governors Safeguarding Democracy. Is being built as a nonpartisan coalition of governors who will work together. Nonpartisan, all of them being Democrats. Okay. Anyway, who will work together to prevent authoritarianism and undermining democratic institutions, including executive agency elections and state courts, according to a announcement made by the group. Governors will leverage their unique legislative, budgetary, executive, and administrative powers to deliver results for the American people, the statement said. So, again, more undermining of Donald Trump. We have the defiance happening. Donald Trump has been placing heavy hitters, right? He's not playing around. And without question, he's learned from his mistakes in the past. I would say he's going scorched earth right now. They are trembling. We have, I read earlier that military generals are trying to destroy all DEI initiatives, all their PowerPoint presentations, all this nonsense that they've been feeding to our servicemen and women. They're trying to get rid of all that. People are just trying to destroy evidence, and you name it. You have Matt Gaetz being appointed as Attorney General, and just this afternoon, they've announced that something with a girl that supposedly happened. This is the old thing that they always do. They do this to every one of them. Oh yeah, back in the day he messed with some girl. That's always what they say. Nancy Pelosi calls it the smear. All right. She talked about this. I played the video about it where she said this was a tactic that Democrats use. I think it's called paint and smear or something like that. I can't remember the terminology used, but it's something smear. And basically they would throw out something, make some kind of accusation about someone. And then whether it's true or false, it doesn't matter because their reputation's already freaking smeared. Now, they're obviously upset because Matt Gaetz is probably going to go scorched earth on these folks. A lot of things needs to happen. A lot of this Ukraine spending is just out of control, man. We've spent more money there than we did in the 20 years in global war on terrorism. I mean, it's rapid smear there, wrap up smear. There it is. I knew you guys are smarter than me. I know. That's why I said it, because I knew you guys are geniuses. You'd come up with it. The rapid smear. That's what they do. And that's what they're doing to him now. They do it to every one of them. They did it to the Supreme Court justice. You remember, they do it to everybody. I think they try to do it to RFK Jr. too. They do it to everybody. Anyway, Trump. I mean, you name it. You come out and they're going to do a rapid smear on you. Now, they're trying to say that I saw Whoopi Goldberg say that Pete Hegseth, what does he know about the military? She said that on The View. The man served 20 years in the military. He got a Bronze Star. He's a major. He's got more education than her. Princeton and a master's degree from Harvard. But anyway, they say Matt Gaetz is not qualified, right? But it's funny because these are the people that they said were qualified, the Biden administration. These are the folks that they said were qualified. This is who they put in charge. And I tell you, man, John Fetterman You know, we gave him hell before, but listen to this guy. This guy is starting to make sense, right? Listen to him.
I would describe it as God tier level trolling to just trigger a full-on China syndrome to own the libs in perpetuity.
The hoodie has spoken. He's talking about Matt Gaetz. He said it was God tier level trolling to trigger the libs, right? Anyway, the hoodie has spoken, guys. But legacy media is dying. They're struggling. And Trump's going to tackle the free speech thing, that angle. And I'm sure Elon Musk is going to be involved in that. RFK Jr. is involved in that. They know the importance of it now, being that Trump hosted most of his campaigning via big tech media. We're talking social media here, podcasts and such. So they know the strength of it. And what even echoes that is the public knows they're being lied to. Hence the reduced ratings from CNN. They're down in a 94% decline viewership. They're firing a lot of their heavy hitters. Even The View is considering or looking to put conservatives on the panel because they're struggling. I even saw just a moment ago that Starbucks is made a red drink, and they're playing the song that Trump always, the song that Trump always plays at his rallies, "Hold On, I'm Coming," as the commercial. Like, everybody's coming out. The thing was, people were so afraid of cancel culture. And that's the thing. I told you guys, and I've been saying, rebellion is contagious, man. It's contagious. That's why it's so important to keep your voice strong. And a lot of you guys do. I see it all the time. I follow a lot of you guys on various social media. I see you posting. You're using your voice. You got to use it. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about being canceled, because strength in numbers. You've seen it happen in reverse in 2019, 2020, 2015 on to 2020. You've seen that the reverse of it, where we were under attack. Now we're canceling these folks. 94% decline in viewership on CNN. Let's talk about one of CNN's analysts for a moment. And poster boy for J6, poster boy, Nancy Pelosi's minion right here. He wasn't even the DC cop that wasn't even supposed to be there. Now, he did a interview on election night. They had a young lady from the Washington Post. Now, he was pissed because the Washington Post did not back Kamala Harris, did not endorse her. But he did the interview anyway. She went to his house on election night. They sat and watched the election in real time. So in the interview, this dude was drinking like crazy, she says. Her name's Vaught, I think. Kara Vaught, Washington Post. She said that he was drinking, drunk as could be, and he was just ranting. And so some things he said. He said that he claimed that Donald Trump tried to kill him. And then in the interview, he, in this drunken, just losing his mind, he says it's the end of the effing world as Donald Trump got elected. Now, this is Fanon, I think is how you say his name. But Fanon, he was a CNN analyst for some time. He gained notoriety for testifying in J6. I'm sure most of you guys know him. But anyway, in the House Select Committee, now Trump supporters obviously he said that Trump supporters dragged and assaulted him at the Capitol, and he watched the election unfold with a Washington Post reporter. So the Post journalist said that he was like on 6 beers and that he was furious. And he said, "You better effing arm yourselves." And you see this. He says the disgraced former DC cop claims he's hiding out in Blue Ridge Mountains ready to open fire on federal agents. He told the Washington Post, Kara Vaught, that "You better effing arm yourselves. I didn't vote for this MFer, and I fought tooth and nail to prevent this day from effing coming." Like, this is direct threats. Why they're not doing a no-knock raid on him versus that 26-year-old young man that predicted Trump to win is beyond me. Is beyond me. He says in this drunken rant to this lady, I'm surprised she stayed. He says, I'll die right here in my effing house. I'm not gonna be in some apprentice effing military tribunal. He says he's not a prepper weirdo, but simply someone who fully expects Trump to use law enforcement to go after civilians. This is why you can't watch CNN, because this is what they tell you, stupid stuff like this. Now, CNN did decline to renew his contract in 2023, and they wanted to end all association with him, probably because he's a lunatic. But he flipped out because CNN held a town hall, if you guys recall, with Don. And he was said, man, CNN is hosting a town hall for the guy who tried to kill me. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But he goes on and says he attempted to return to the workforce after leaving DC's Metropolitan Police Department. He said he failed to land a job at Walmart, Costco, and Cabela's. He said, this is his quote, "No one gives you a reason, but it's pretty obvious," he said, implying that he is viewed as a traitor after testifying against Trump and his supporters. I mean, dude, they used him. They used and abused him, Nancy Pelosi and stuff. I mean, he was probably an insider. Let's be honest with ourselves. So Vaught asked if she could stay longer to keep watching the vote count. He replied, "I don't care. It's the end of the effing world." The problem is that there's many people, and I've heard sadistic things. You can't even talk to this on YouTube, but people murdering people because of this election result. They have been brainwashed by media that the world is over for them. It's not true. The world's going to be better than you could imagine it to be. People have such short memory. They don't remember the economy. They don't remember how much you're paying for gas or groceries and such. They believe the touch points of CNN news blasts that are trying to derail Donald Trump's campaign. But the fact of the matter is, this man is making these type of threats about law enforcement, being he's former law enforcement, is wild. But he's not even on their radar. However, if you posted a meme, you're going to jail. They're doing a no-knock raid. The older gentleman, I think he was like 68 years old, with a walker, and they literally drove. And I talk about this all the time. They drove an MRAP into his freaking house and shot him. And then the veteran that he posted some memes. They raided his house and took him out as well. He was like 22 years old or 24 years old, I think, living with his mother. His mother said he doesn't even own a firearm, and he just had posted something on social media. A lot of people, again, have amnesia. They forget. They forget the things that has happened during these past 4 years. It's been incredible. The type of nonsense that the Biden-Harris admin has put out. Harris sent out an email blast earlier about Matt Gaetz, basically saying that it's crazy that he was nominated for Attorney General, and then asked for money, a $50 donation, to help fund a fight, the Harris Fight Camp Foundation, I think it's called. Asking for money to pay back the millions of dollars you threw in the trash, paying all these celebrities that no one cares about anymore. No one cares about celebrities anymore. That's what I want to tell celebrities. I want to tell them that no one cares about you anymore. We know you're puppets. You're bought and paid for. The amount of people that were paid during for Kamala Harris's campaign is unreal. Oprah was paid $1 million. They're paid advertisements. That stuff should be illegal. It should be illegal, truly. And I'm sure probably in some regard it is. But again, why this man is allowed to say something like this, because I guarantee if you said something on the opposite side of the row, they'd be rating you. Anyway, guys, I wanted to share this information. I do appreciate you hanging out with me. I do Let me see this guy's comment. David says, take your real to BSS. Don't be brainwashed. Jack will say that. Most people remember the last thing they heard as the real. It's true, brother. People remember the last thing they were told, and they have a short-term memory. I don't. I remember all this stuff, and I think about it all the time. But even right now, conservatives are in some type of euphoria, and they've forgotten what we've went through these past few years, man. I had good followers, subscribers of mine, friends have to do things to either stay in the military or get kicked out. It was heartbreaking to me how many young men that I knew, I didn't know other than being on the channel here, them emailing me, but telling me they were getting the boot from the military because they wouldn't take the hokey pokey. It broke my heart. You know, how many guys that just came in, they had love of country and they wound up getting the boot. It's terrible what has happened. You know, just good young men and women that wanted to serve the country, they didn't get that opportunity to. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you helping me. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Help me fight these commies that try to shut us down. Remember, stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.
2, 3. 4, 2.